Hey people, I have one more update about the situation with my coworker and the work environment feeling kind of hostile. No other word, I think, for it. And so I decided that I needed to record, like someone suggested in my comments in my one of my videos yesterday about this, because my company that I work for very much would have gone about it in a way where they're like, it's a he said, she said, so we don't really know which of you is telling the truth. So, like, we went about 4 hours tonight before she said anything or whatever rude to me or started to escalate anything. So, I was really hoping we would be able to just finish out the night because we had been able to get through basically half of it. It was really bad weather today, and we drive to 4 different places on Friday. So I want to keep that in mind. There was really bad snow. We got like 4 inches or something like that, which maybe isn't bad in some places. It was sleeting though, like the roads were very slippery. So anyway, we weren't even running that far behind. However, I'm just gonna like explain what happened, because I obviously didn't record the entire shift. I wouldn't even be able to do that. My phone would have died, and I also don't have enough storage to do that because video space does take up a lot of memory. But anyway, I was basically like waiting for the first sign of if I needed to, then I would pull my phone out, record, and put it in my pocket with the camera on, going. Recording. And so, like I said, we made it about 4 hours, and the weather was really bad, but we had gotten to our second building about 5 minutes after we were scheduled to. We were supposed to get there at 7, and we literally got there at about 7:05. We were in the building by 7:10 and like working by 7:10. So not that big of a difference. And she hadn't said anything. She had been acting better and like only talking to me when necessary and talking to me in a little bit of a better way. Because I'm pretty sure she was talked to last night. And so, anyway, I thought that it was fine because the roads were horrible, and I thought that she kind of was, like, being understanding of that. And I also thought that she was just gonna sort of, like, continue to back off after last night. However, so we start at 4 o'clock. And our first building, we leave at 6:45, and when we have 15 minutes to get to the second building on Friday. And then we're supposed to start at about 7 o'clock for our second building, and then we are supposed to leave by 8:15, so we have an hour and 15 minutes. I clean a men's restroom with a toilet and a urinal, and a big sink and a big mirror, and then I have to do the trash on the floor. Whoops. And then I do the same for the women's, except instead of a urinal, there's 2 toilets in the women's. So anyway, between 7:10, because like I said, we weren't actually like in there working till 7:10 because the roads were bad and it took us a little bit longer to get there. Between 7:10 and 8:10, within an hour, I had cleaned both of those bathrooms, including the floor, and like restocking all of the toilet paper and the soap and the paper towel. So like they're completely taken care of. And then I also had wiped down and dusted a break room that had 8 seats and 2 tables, and then a counter space with a large sink and a microwave, which I had to do the inside of the microwave. And like all of the counter space in the sink, and I had to stainless steel shine the sink, stainless steel polish. So like I'm doing a lot and I have to be pretty detail oriented in my cleaning. And I'm also doing things like collecting trash wherever I go. Um, and then on top of that, I had also done all the sweeping for the hard floors in the lobby area and the reception area and like the entry. And then I had also done the mopping. And so at 8:20 was when I had like been starting to mop, and she came up and she told me that the floors last night at a completely different building, um but she said the floors I mopped last night looked like crap. And then she very condescendingly explained to me that I need to dip my mop in the water more because otherwise I'm just smearing the salt around instead of dissolving it, which I just let roll off my back because it was slightly annoying, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And I just said, "Oh, okay." And I continued to mop. But then she came up to me in a couple minutes later and she said, "Okay, Michael, we've really got to pick it up. Like you've really got to pick it up." And then um I just kind of stayed silent because I wasn't really sure what to say. And then she sorry, my anxiety, like I'm blanking for a second. Uh I'm gonna take a second. Sorry. So I kind of just didn't really say anything to her. I just continued to work. But then after a little, like a few moments, she started to go on more. Um, and she had said that, I'm sorry, it's like hard to get through it because like it was really stressful. So, I keep blanking, but she, she told me that she's the one that gets yelled at about the times, not me. So like I really do need to pick it up. And I, in response to her, said, I feel a lot of anxiety and stress right now, so, don't worry. Because at that point, I was starting to, like, I could tell that things were going bad. And so at that point, I got my phone out and I hit record and I put it in my pocket so I could get the audio to cover my ass. And so, every time I thought that she was about to be done and leave me alone, I would end it. And then I have a couple of recordings where nothing happened for a couple minutes, so then I would stop it because I didn't want to like record just on and on and on without needing to. But then if I noticed her like coming towards me or whatever, or if she did come and start speaking, then I would just do it right away. Which was kind of surprising because she never ever noticed it or thought about it. Or if she did, it didn't stop her whatsoever. So, um, she, in the one clip I have, um, tells me that I'm supposed to be more time conscious, and she's asked me to be more time conscious. Right after she gets done telling me that she hasn't even looked at the clock because I called her out on the fact that she hadn't said anything to me about needing to be done faster or sooner than like the way that we were going, until it was already quote unquote too late. And in response to that, she yells at me that she hadn't even looked at the clock yet. And at this point it was about 8:25ish. And so for an hour and so minutes she hadn't looked at the clock, but then she in the same breath is telling me that it's my fault because I'm not being time conscious. Even though I was, and I was aware of the time, I just figured that, like I said, with the roads and everything else, we were just sort of letting it go tonight. And like she should have just said something before escalating it. That's basically the point. So anyway, I'm like blanking on what exactly like happened because I just keep blanking. Oh, so after I told her I feel stress and anxiety about making our times and stuff, like kind of hoping that she would back off of me. She was like, "Yeah, well, guess what? She went, "Yeah, well, guess what? That's called having a job." And I looked at her and I told her, "No, I have never gotten this stressed out at a job. You are the only person I've ever met who has made me get anxious like this over work. Even the person who like screamed at me when I was working on the farm when I was a teenager didn't make me feel like this anxious because he was just more predictable, and I was, I guess, like more willing to tolerate it, which does a lot for someone's ability to tolerate things. But I didn't actually like get to say that to her, but that was just sort of like a thought running through my mind. Like this, I was like, you are actually making this even worse than the farm, and I thought that could never happen. But I will just say that I talked with my manager and I told her I straight up do not feel safe to work with her, and my manager is getting me on a different route by next Tuesday, if not Monday. So I'm not going to be missing any work other than maybe one day, and I'm actually going to be getting like a better route where it's only one building that I might actually be able to walk to, so then we don't have to do the sharing the car every Friday and Thursday, and then TJ can just drive back instead of me having to go pick him up and then come back. So in a way it kind of like worked out in my favor, but I don't know, it was just freaking insane. And here is the audio of that. You could have said something to me at 8 o'clock, but you waited until now.
I didn't even look at the clock until just now.
That's not my fault.
I don't know how many times I've asked you to be conscious of your time.
I have been conscious of my time, but what about you?
All right, sorry. Oh, I didn't. I'm sure, like, how long were you with them?
I was with him for 3 weeks, and Devin actually outright told me that he said, like, he literally told me I do a good job.
I never said you did a bad job.
He also told me that my times were just fine.
Okay.
And I did not raise my voice to raising your voice in me.
You might have had different, better bids.
Please.
With police fine.
I'm good. I don't want to further this conversation. There's not a point to it.
No.
No, I'm going to finish out the shift. But
I said, should I?
If you want to, I don't
No, I'm
mind.
just saying. Never mind.
I really don't mind. It's up to you.
Like, I would do that. I would screw over my husband.
I didn't screw you over yesterday. I just didn't feel safe with you in the truck.
Oh, whatever. Because I said stop.
No, because
That's
you
what
wouldn't
it's
stop
like.
going
I said
off
something
on
you
me.
didn't like,
You
so you
immediately
jumped out.
Hey, I asked you to stop and you keep going.
Fine.
Thank you. What?
So you shut the door, but the lights aren't turned off and the door's locked. And I gotta find the key.
Okay, I have ADHD and a really hard time remembering
So do
stuff
I.
like that.
So do I.
So you could have said something to me. Quit yelling at me.
I'm not yelling.
You just
You
did.
want me to yell? I can yell.
Is that a threat? Are you threatening me?
Ready to yell?
Yes, Jess.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god.